Of course, these projections do not represent a committee decision or plan, and no one knows with any certainty where the economy will be a year or more from now.
Hey, will you get a load of this? I can't even afford diapers here, and he's saying we don't know where we're gonna be in a year? Oh, man, mozzarella! I don't know why I went full veto mode, but I guess it had to happen. Today, though, I want to go over the Fed's interest hike. It was 75 basis points at their last meeting, and that puts us at a range of 3 to 3.25%. So I want to go over what that means. The Fed goes over in detail what that means for the housing market and labor market. So I think it's pretty important stuff to check out. So let's get started. As of now, the federal funds rate is between 3 to 3.25%, and that's actually the highest we've had since the 2008 housing market crash, where it went up to 5.1%. If you compare that to our federal funds rate, you'll see that we have a projected peak of 4.6%, but then throughout 2023 will slowly decrease. However, this is just a projection, so just make sure that you take it with a grain of salt. Even earlier this year, they were saying that the peak interest rates would be 1.5 to 1.75% in total. And clearly that's way off because now they're projecting 4.6%. However, let's just see how the Fed thinks that these interest hikes are going to affect us going forward. The first thing they talk about is how the interest hikes are affecting the housing market. And what they say is that this is the 7th month straight in August where expected home sales have declined. And this ends up coming at a cost where each federal fund interest rate hike ends up increasing mortgage rates, and we've already started to see their effect on the housing market, where housing sales are down 20.2% yearly, and the appreciation value, so how much a house appreciates yearly, was around 20%, is down to around 2 to 3% per some analysts. So does that mean that the housing market's going to crash just like it did in 2008? Vito says yes! I'm just kidding. Time will tell, but I personally don't think it's going to be anywhere near as bad as it was then. Just the dynamic's so different. But I could be totally wrong, so just take that with a grain of salt. But the Fed also talked a lot about unemployment, so let's see what they were saying about that. But before we get into unemployment, if you're liking this content, remember to please like and subscribe. I'm just trying to grow. But if you're not liking this content, please let me know how it could be better. I'm open to all suggestions. But let's get into unemployment, the story of my life. Powell starts off talking about unemployment, and what he says is that the first thing we need to do is get inflation behind us, and unfortunately there's no painless way to do that. There just isn't. What he predicts for unemployment is that it'll rise from 3.7% to 3.8%, and then ultimately to 4.4%. But again, just take that with a grain of salt. The Fed was way off with their federal fund rate hike projections, so they can be way off with unemployment. And unfortunately, that's not great, but Vito says, hey, there's always a job making the gabagool. Now let's see what the unemployment looked like during 2008. And what we saw is that they had a peak unemployment of 9.6%, so that's super high. But if our projections for now are at 4.4%, then that's pretty mild. So let's just take a look at the companies in the United States that are already having major layoffs. That would be Gap with 500 jobs, Snapchat with 20% of their jobs, Wayfair with 870 jobs, Robinhood with 1,000 employees, and Peloton with 4,150 employees. And this is just the beginning. There's many others. So will unemployment go rampant again? Vito! I don't really feel like being Vito right now. I don't even know what's going on with that. But will unemployment go rampant? I personally don't think so. I do think it'll increase, but I just hope it doesn't go to those crazy high numbers again. 9% in 2008. In the 80s, it had 11% unemployment. So these are things that I'd rather not see, but again, only time will tell. But we covered a ton of crap today. I hope you guys learned something. If you want to learn some more, if you want to figure out how low the stock market and crypto market could possibly go, check out this video right here. It goes over if history repeated itself, how low these numbers would go. So it's pretty useful. But if you don't want to check that out, just remember to please like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate every one of you guys and can't wait to see you in the next one.